The tavern fell silent when Kestara entered. A dragon woman stood 7 feet tall, her scales gleaming like polished obsidian, her wings folded carefully against her back to avoid hitting the ceiling. Most patrons pretended not to notice. Most were too afraid. Marcus pretended not to notice, though he was acutely aware of her presence. He'd been reading the same page of his book for the past 10 minutes. To his complete shock, she sat down across from him. "Mind if I join you?" she asked, already sitting. Marcus stumbled through a greeting, his face flushing red. He was not good with people, especially not enormous dragon women who could probably incinerate him with a thought. "I haven't had any intercourse in months," Kestara announced, sighing deeply. "Social intercourse, I mean. Conversation, interaction, any kind of meaningful dialogue with another being." Marcus blinked. "Oh, I understand that. Do you?" She studied him with eyes like molten gold. "You seem like someone who understands loneliness." He didn't deny it. There wasn't much point. "It's not so bad when you're used to it," he said quietly. "That's the saddest thing I've heard all week," Kestara replied. She ordered 2 drinks, 1 enormous goblet for herself, 1 reasonable-sized glass for Marcus, which he appreciated. "Tell me something. Why do beings choose isolation?" "We don't choose it," Marcus said. "We just end up there. One day, you realize you've been alone so long that you've forgotten how to be with people." Kestara took a long drink. "I was supposed to be a diplomatic envoy, represent my people, establish trade routes, all that political nonsense. Then I arrived and realized my reputation precedes me. One dragon woman, and everyone assumes I'm here to burn their settlements or hoard their gold. They're polite but distant. They keep their children close when I walk by." Marcus recognized the pain in her voice, the specific kind that came from being seen as a threat simply for existing. "So I've been staying in this tavern," she continued, "keeping to myself, because at least when I'm alone, I'm not reminding everyone of their fear." "That's not living," Marcus said. "That's just existing." "Exactly," Kestara leaned forward. "I haven't had a real conversation in so long. I can't remember what it feels like to be treated like a person instead of a problem. And I'd almost accepted that this was my fate, spend my years in tavern corners, watching other creatures experience connection while I remained apart." Marcus found himself talking then, not because he was suddenly confident, but because Kestara had given him permission to be honest. He talked about his job in the library, how he organized books, which meant he didn't have to organize his life. About how he'd convinced himself that solitude was a choice, when really it was just fear wearing a different mask. "You know what the cruelest part is," Kestara said. "My people are intensely social. We're meant to be with others. We're meant to tell stories and share meals and argue passionately about philosophy and sit with our friends for hours doing nothing but being present. And instead, I'm here, alone, because I'm too big and too scary and too different." "You're not too anything," Marcus said. He surprised himself with the conviction in his voice. "You're exactly the right size to be a dragon woman. And you're not scary. You're just honest. That frightens people because most of them aren't." Kestara smiled, and it transformed her entire face. "You're shy," she observed. "Terrified," Marcus corrected. "Good," she said. "Terrified people are usually kinder than confident ones. They actually pay attention." They talked until the tavern closed. Not about anything profound or earth-shattering. They talked about books, Marcus's passion. Kestara had read extensively, seeking knowledge during her months of solitude. They debated the merits of different authors. They laughed. Actually laughed. When they left, Kestara walked Marcus to his apartment. She had to duck through the doorway. Inside, she sat carefully on his couch, and he made tea, a humble offering, but offered genuinely. "I have a proposal," Kestara said. "We could continue to have intercourse. Social intercourse. Regular conversation. You could recommend books. I could listen. We could sit together and not be alone." "I'd like that," Marcus whispered. "So would I," she said. "I've missed it. I didn't even realize how much until I remembered what it felt like." As the night deepened, neither of them felt the weight of solitude. For the first time in months, they understood that loneliness wasn't a permanent condition. It was just a conversation waiting to happen, a connection waiting to be acknowledged. Sometimes, the greatest intimacy between two beings had nothing to do with touch and everything to do with being truly seen. And Kestara and Marcus, the giant dragon woman and the shy human, had finally found someone willing to look.